Gentleman from Florida, Mr. Soto, for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Secretary, for being here today. I know it's been a long morning. Your thoughtful and candid answers to an onslaught of questions just reminds us that American agriculture is in good hands with your leadership. I've visited ranchers, growers, and farmers across Central Florida, as well as food banks and food pantries, and they spoke with one voice, which is, can you please pass a farm bill? We've talked about how food inflation has dropped in half and continues to go down, but there's more work that we need to do. Is it your opinion that if we pass the farm bill, that would help in continuing to lower food costs in the nation?
Yes, unless it involves restricting the utilization of the Commodity Credit Corporation. That is a tool that we use to help food banks deal with the increased need that's out there.
So we need to continue to support programs like that, and we will continue to see food prices decline for the American consumer.
Correct.
In Florida, we have hurricanes that have only gotten worse over the years with climate change. Hurricane Ian recently led to over $1 billion in agricultural losses. We've passed out of this House a bipartisan disaster block grant authority. This is the top priority for Florida Farm Bureau. Do you think this would help going forward? I know the Senate didn't pass it yet, especially to help both our ranchers and particularly citrus as we face these increasing storms.
We'll be happy to administer it if it gets passed. Right now, we don't have the authority to do that. I know Florida's anxious to have it. If that's the wish of Congress, we will certainly follow it and do whatever we can to make sure it's administered properly.
And Mr. Secretary, we want to give you that authority. Also representing cattle country, I just wanted to stress the importance of continuing to invest in the National Vaccine Bank. That has come up several times for several different types of livestock. We have the largest herd in the nation in Deseret Ranch in our area, along with many other ranches and cow-calf operations, so that's really important. I've also visited places like Second Harvest in Central Florida, our food bank, that had to spend $2.5 million last year to fill the TFAP gap. How critical to feeding America's families is the Emergency Food Assistance Program?
Well, it's essential. It's an essential tool that when demand goes up or there's a regional tragedy that occurs, it's an opportunity for us to be able to respond quickly to provide the resources for those food banks to meet the need. So it's critically important.
Well, I've seen both seniors, children, the disabled, our veterans coming to these food banks to get healthy, nutritious food, and the TFAP program has been absolutely critical for us. In addition, we are, after many years, finally turning the corner in Florida citrus. I appreciate your dedication over the years, both under the Obama administration, now under the Biden administration, to work with us on this research and development funding. We're seeing great advancements with new herbicides that are and pesticides that are helping out with new trees, especially injection. So I wanted to thank you for the waiver that you all provided to allow these areas to go forward. How critical is it for us to continue to make sure we have U.S. grown citrus, whether it's orange juice from Florida or eating fruit from California and other areas, to protect America's vitamin C source?
Well, I think it's connected to the health and welfare of Americans, and specifically American children. You know, we're trying to encourage more fruits and vegetable consumption, and obviously, to the extent that we do so, it'd be nice if we can provide them something that's produced here in the U.S.
Well, we're going to try to dig deep to get this done. The last thing I want to talk about is in my family's native island of Puerto Rico, along with many other territories, they are under the NAP program, trying to move them to the SNAP program. First, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce a bipartisan letter from Representative Jennifer Gonzalez-Colon and myself, just talking about the needs of the NAP program.
Without objection.
Thank you. There's been some debate about whether there needs to be legislation or just funding to convert NAP to SNAP. Do you happen to have any opinion on that or any advice on how we proceed going forward?
Well, I think there is legislation that's required, but I think more importantly is making sure that Puerto Rico in particular is prepared for that transition. It's not a simple process to administer the SNAP program, and we have been working with officials in Puerto Rico to get them to a point where they're ready, willing, and able to administer the program effectively so their folks won't fall through the cracks.
Well, we're absolutely thrilled by that. In Central Florida, 1 in 4 of my constituents are fellow Puerto Ricans. We care deeply about what's happening on the island, as well as supporting our local growers, ranchers in cattle, citrus, blueberry, and strawberry country, and making sure no Central Florida family goes hungry. So I appreciate your leadership, Mr. Secretary, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Gentleman yields back. Now please recognize the gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Finstead, for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Chairman Thompson, and thank you, Secretary Vilsack, for being here today and for your testimony. I'm a proud, fortunate